up your engine! This is a 2001 4Runner. I'm going to give you a total analysis of this vehicle so you can make the correct choice for yourself. Now, of course, the 4Runners just started out as a pickup truck. You can still see a little bit left in it. And then they became very popular SUVs. Now, the main problem that I see people having with buying a used 4Runner is people say they want too much money for them. They're just too expensive. But then expense is in the eye of the beholder. This guy bought this thing when it only had 19,000 miles on it in 2002 as a used vehicle. And as we can see as we go inside now, this baby has 386,000 miles on it. And take a listen to the engine as we start it up. Starts right up even though it's cold. We'll put it in drive. Doesn't shake at all. Smooth as can be. If you put a blindfold on me, I couldn't tell you if this was a new truck or an old truck. That's how well built these things are. Now, granted, this one was made in Japan, but it certainly was well made in Japan. For people who are wondering what to buy, personally, for all-around vehicle, this setup is the best. As we look under the back, we can see it's classic rear-wheel drive. Big old axle in the back, rear-wheel drive. And check this out. The frame's solid as can be. The only rusty part? Hey, that's the add-on tow hitch. The original stuff is still solid. It's the add-on one that wasn't made as well as the Toyota product that's got rust, but that's just a covering, and it's superficial. That's still real solid metal. It's nothing to worry about. It's just cosmetic. And really, unless you spend your life crawling under your vehicle, do you really care what it looks like under there? As you look under the front, it is not a front-wheel drive vehicle. You can see there's no axle coming in the front. I'll shoot the other side so you can get a better view. There you can see there's no axle in there, although you can see there's a hole there. They can build them. You can add it on if you really wanted to go through a lot of use. But really, most people, they don't really need all-wheel drive. It's a good, stable vehicle with rear-wheel drive, unless you're one of those off-roaders, you live out in a mud hut somewhere with potholes and mud road. These are perfectly fine. The majority of my customers with them never take them off the street, so you're really kind of throwing your money away going all-wheel, four-wheel drive. And unless you live in a big snow belt and you're worried about that, then go right ahead. You'll find that these plain rear-wheel drive ones will cover most situations you're going to get into. And of course, realize less is better. If you're not going to use it, don't buy it. They cost more. You get worse gas mileage. Two-wheel drive ones are perfectly fine. Now, since all the 4Runners are made in Japan, yeah, they're not going to be cheap. Cost money to make good vehicles in Japan. 300-something thousand miles on this. Listen to the engine. Check it out. Now that it's idled down a little, solid engine. Still really quiet. The exhaust sounds perfect. Now you might say, oh, it's smoking. Oh, yeah, it's cold out today. That's condensation. It's gonna smoke when you start it when it's cold outside. People smoke too when it's cold. And some people say, look, water's coming out, something's wrong. No, in this case, absolutely nothing's wrong. When you burn gasoline, which is basically carbon and hydrogen, one of the byproducts is H2O, water vapor. All cars will give a certain amount of water off when you start them out first because they're letting water out, plus they have metal exhaust systems. When they cool down, they have a tendency of absorbing water vapor. When they heat, the water's got to come out somewhere. So that's normal. This thing doesn't lose coolant, doesn't have a blowing head gasket. You're going to see that on any car. And you're going to see the smoke when it's cold outside because it's cold. And the combination of the water vapor inside the exhaust and the hot exhaust, you're going to see smoke. Now, if you want a solid vehicle, these 4Runners are for you. They're still made with solid frames. So they're unlike any other SUV practically out there. They're still on a solid frame. Now, the 6-cylinder engine puts out 183 horsepower. It's not a racing machine, but it wasn't designed for that. It's a nice truck frame, very solid, reliable vehicle. 380,000 miles, whatever this thing has, it's a lot of miles to have it still running as good as it's running now. The newer ones, of course, have a little bit more horsepower, but they're never meant to be speed demons. They're for reliability, and you can still tow stuff. This thing can tow up to 5,000 pounds. It's a basically truck turned into an SUV, and they kept it old style. And me, I like old style reliability, solid frames, never going to come apart. These are vehicles that you could drive forever if you wanted to. If eventually the engine or transmission wears out, you can replace them. They sold so many of them. If you're like me, you go to a junkyard, buy a salvage one, you can get rebuilt ones, you can do whatever you want. But they do have a tendency of lasting so long that you really don't have to do much to them at all in most cases, except change the oil. And the only bad thing that ever happened to this was he took it to a Toyota dealer for an oil change and they wrecked the car, but they paid for the damage and fixed it all back up again. And that was years ago. It's still going perfectly fine. And that hilarious story just follows my philosophy entirely. Hey, learn to change your own oil. Do it in your driveway. Make sure it was done right. You got the right oil in it. And you don't have some young kid or real lead-foot mechanic driving it around and smashing it up. And I mean, look at the quality of it. It's old, it's got a ton of miles. The paint and the finish is still in excellent shape. The Japanese care. And sure, if you look here, you can see a little fading, but that's not even the car's fault. Somebody left something square out here in the rain. You could buff it out if you really wanted to. So let's take it for a ride, see how it goes. Away we go. Nice stable handling. Now, this does bounce a little, I'll give you that. It's got the case of the bouncies. But I already knew that because I checked, and the front struts are leaking. They're all leaked out. Hey, you know, 380-something thousand miles. You expect to put struts on eventually. Now you notice you're plenty high enough in the air here. You got lots of clearance. Yet it's still stable. It doesn't feel like it's going to tip over like a cheaper made SUV does with too much body roll. Now, as I said, it's no race car. Here we'll take off from a stop. I mean, it accelerates. It's nothing rocketing about it, but you hear how smooth that transmission still shifts. It still shifts like a dream with all this mileage. As old as this thing is, I would have no qualms at jumping in it, turning the keys, and driving the thing from Tennessee to California and back. At least after I put struts back on it, new ones. I'd like to have a little bit better handling if I'm driving all the way to California. And when you're just cruising around, hey, it's reasonably quiet. You know, let's face it, it's based on a truck chassis, but it's a reasonably quiet vehicle. Ride's quiet, the engine's quiet. It's just a big, heavy, nice riding, full frame SUV. Now, if you don't believe my analysis, let's see what the computer has to say. You can't hide from the computer data. Blah, blah, blah. We'll see what comes up. And we'll start the diagnosis. All right, it does good. The only code it has is the ABS system. Those things often break when the cars are that old. C1224, that there's no signal open or short. Now that code means that the right rear wheel speed sensor isn't giving anything out, so it's probably gone bad. A lot of guys will live without it. When they get this old, the ABS doesn't work all that great anyway, so it just reverts to non-ABS, normal braking, and this thing seems pretty fine to me. Driving it around and stopping, I have no problems. It doesn't pull. It stops nice and fast, doesn't have any problems. Now, since that was the only code, let's check live data. That gives you some really good idea what kind of shape the vehicle is in. And here we go. We'll go through the data. Now, for a car with that kind of gas mileage, the long-term fuel trim is only 0.82%. Some of them I'll see 15 or 20. That's hardly anything. It's subtracting just a tiny bit of fuel. And the short-term fuel trim, it's adding 2.3. That's kind of remarkable considering how old this vehicle is. I mean, look at the fuel trim. 99.15%, almost 100%. Pretty good for something with 380,000 miles on it. And if you remember from my other videos, if any of this data is orange, there's a problem. I don't see any orange yet. We look at the misfire counts. 0 across the board, 1 through 6. I don't feel any, and the computer just says yes. And here we go again. Total fuel trim, 1.02. That's out of 1. So it's almost perfect. I gotta say, this whole 4Runner is in better shape than I am. Sure, I'm 67, I'm older than it is, but it does have 386,000 miles on it. I don't know how many miles I have on me, though. The odometer broke a long time ago. So now you know the truth about Toyota 4Runners. And why, even though this is a 2001 with 386,000 miles, it's still an excellent vehicle. And in most cases, if somebody's trying to sell you a vehicle with 386,000 miles, people are going to say, you must be out of your mind to buy a vehicle with that kind of mileage. In this case, if you got a good enough price, you'd be out of your mind not to buy it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.